Good morning, dear students. In the last two classes, uh, we learned about what is theory, uh, what important things that it should contain. In the second class, we also learned about what is politics, what is political theory, how we should understand uh, different concepts like politics, political science, political philosophy. In the last two classes, you have learned that the scientific part of study, apart from scientific part of study, we should also have the philosophical part or philosophical inquiry under the broader context of political theory. Today, we are going to learn about the evolution and the scope of political theory. After having known about political theory in the last two classes, today we are going to know about the emergence of political theory as an academic discipline or academic inquiry. Political theory began as a study of Greek city-state in 5th century BC, 4th and 5th century BC. Ancient Greek city-state was called as the polis, P-O-L-I-S, polis. Polis in Greek terminology means city-state. As a study, political theory covered almost all activities of the individuals in the society. Plato said about man is a social animal and also political animal. As a social animal, he has to live with his fellow human beings, and as a political animal, he has to confront different issues, different frictions, and he has to come out of that issues and frictions, and to live a contented life. So, political theory covered almost all the activities of the individuals. Plato, Aristotle defined the scope of polity to include political and social institutions. So it was in Greek city-state the political theory as a study emerged. It started studying the city-state. So at the time when the study of city-state began, the society was very simple, and there was not much difference. All the activities, were studied. Society was very simple. But after some time, after the modern period had begun, the system of production, expanded. Society became very complex. Many professions emerged, and state could no longer extend its functions to all the activities, and also especially to certain specialized sectors. This complexity and the evolution of production system resulted in the emergence of distinct social, political and economic institutions and their functions. So state could not look after all these activities and could not perform all the activities in the society. Therefore, political theory started focusing on the state with emphasis on institutional arrangements. So, society collectively, what kind of institutions established, society has established what kind of institutions to solve their problems or to serve themselves. So, the political theory started focusing on state. Uh, so, and then a state performed generally its functions through the government, through the agency of government. So the government and state and government became the main focus of political theory. So these are the institutions. The state and government are the institutions, political institutions. What functions they perform. So the political theory focused on the institutions like state and government and their powers and functions. So that is how initially political theory started focusing on state and government. They are the institutional structures created by the society to serve the people. And later on, for about many centuries till 20th century, almost all the philosophers and political scientists emphasized on common good. Apart from the institutional structure, they emphasized on common good, establishing order in society, achieving justice and the best state. So they emphasized on common good and how to maintain order and how to achieve justice. When we see the Plato, the ideal state, he talked about ideal state. He talked about justice, and when the Aristotle also emphasized on achieving good in the society, making the citizen the best citizen. J.S. Mill, Karl Marx, Karl Marx. They have given different definitions of what constitutes to be a common good. They suggested different mechanisms for ensuring these objectives. These objectives means justice, common good, the best state, ideal state. They emphasized on these ideals. They emphasized on these kind of objectives. Then from Plato, Plato, as I said, he emphasized on ideal state. Aristotle mixed the constitutions, and Rousseau, Marx, Gandhi, they all concerned with good and the desirable human existence and the way in which the state and the government can be made to ensure it. So their goal was to attain common good through the institutional mechanisms, like state and the government. And they emphasized on ideals. They emphasized on how society ought to be, how an individual should be. So these are the ideals they emphasized on. Then this kind of emphasis and this kind of focus had been there till early 20th century. In 1920s, early 1920s, and later on, especially in 50s, there was a complete shift in the focus of the political theory. A political theory, many social scientists, they said the emphasizing on ideals or emphasizing on what ought to be is not enough to understand what actually is the result, what actually is the reality. So that is how a kind of behavioralism emerged. Behavioralism means studying the behavior as it is. To study a reality, to study a behavior of the individual, we require a lot of scientific statistical tools. They emphasized on tools, they emphasized on methods. So especially the David Easton, Catlin, Bentley in early 20s and 50s, they emphasized on they said that emphasize on values and ideals were not enough. Emphasizing on facts, that is what is important rather than what ought to be. So, because this influence, was the result of the development of the natural sciences. Natural sciences, even though they began very late, many centuries after the social sciences emerged, but they achieved so many great things, and they achieved a lot of popularity in natural sciences. So the methodology in the natural sciences was studying the facts, studying the reality, or studying the principles, or studying the nature, how nature is. So that influence fell on social sciences, and social scientists started emphasizing on behavioralism. So behavioralism means emphasizing on knowing the reality as it is. Earlier, the emphasis on political theory was what ought to be, how society ought to be, how state ought to be, how government ought to be, how human being ought to be. That was the emphasis of political theory since early 1920s. After 1920s, the emphasis changed. They emphasized on studying the reality, studying the behavior of the individual, studying the behavior of the people who exercise power. So that is how the behavioralism emerged, and it reached its peak in 1950s and 60s. The focus of behavioralism. So the behavioralism, as I said, it emphasized on knowing the reality as it is. Behavioral, the revolution, the behavioral revolution, it is called as revolution because there was a complete shift from what ought to be to what is. So the behavioral revolution shifted the emphasis of political theory from structure to processes. So earlier political theory emphasized on institutional mechanism, it emphasized on common good, it emphasized on structures especially. But now the focus was shifted from structure to processes. Processes include activities. What kind of activities citizens perform, how they behave, how leaders behave. So that was the main focus of behavioralism. Because of the influence of behavioralism, political theory focused on activities, and also political theory focused on conflicts, issues, different perceptions, different opinions, and the reconciliation required. So it emphasized on conflicts. So in society, if you want to understand the reality, there are so many conflicts, there are so many different perceptions. Those have to be understood properly. That is important. And then power and authority. How the rulers exercise power, which sections of the society exercise power, hold power and exercise power, power and authority. Here, power, we have to understand that power is nothing but it is capacity to influence. Authority is right to influence. By dint of your official position, you have every right to influence the people working under you. So that is authority. Whereas power, it is the capacity. It goes beyond the legitimate right of a person. So power and authority, how power is exercised in the state, and who exercise the power, and how power is exercised through institutions like the state and government. So these are the important aspects that were emphasized. This was the focus of the behavioralism. So behavioralism focused on all these aspects. It emphasized on activities, it emphasized on knowing conflicts, it emphasized on knowing power and authority, who exercise power, who hold power, and how some people exercise power in the society, how some people remain just obeyers, how they obey the power. That is how the behavioralism emphasized on these aspects. And then this was the main focus of the political theory till 19 70s, late 60s, 1960s, late 60s. After 70s, again the political scientists, started doubting their emphasis on knowing the fact, knowing the reality. By knowing the reality, what you will do after using so many tools and methods, you know the reality. For what purpose you are knowing the reality? You are knowing you are trying to know the reality. Now they started emphasizing on values, because human being is a rational animal, also is a ethical animal. So human society has some values, and when you take the larger society into consideration, you have to see that some people or all the people get justice, and some people historically have been exercising domination, exercising authority, but many people suffered. Historically they were denied justice. Now they have to be provided justice. So certain values are required. Your society requires values of equality, justice, and liberty. These are the values. Without those values, just merely knowing the reality doesn't take you anywhere, or it will create a lot of confusion or directionless situation. So therefore, the political scientists emphasized on values. Value is important. Earlier, because of the influence of behavioralism, they emphasized on knowing the fact. They kept aside the values. Now, the political scientists and social scientists realized that values are also important. So now they wanted to induct into the studying the phenomena these values, how these values have to be integrated with the fact. So instead of value fact dichotomy, that was the trend during behavioralism, now they wanted to balance the facts and values in political theory. Because of this emphasis, many scientists like Gabriel Almond, David Easton, they emphasized on systems approach. How a political system is a subsystem in the society. It should be understood as part of the society, and also it should the political system should be understood in such a way that what kind of influences many other subsystems will have on political system. So you have to understand system entire in an integrated manner, and structural functional approach, systems approach. They emphasized on understanding the politics and its process in totality with a multidisciplinary approach. So if you take any system or any part in the society, that the influences of other parts should also be understood before understanding a particular phenomenon. So you require knowledge of many other disciplines. To understand a phenomena, you have to know many other aspects. See, if you want to know one particular aspect, for example, crime in the society. So why boys resorting to the violence? For that you need to understand economic aspects, you have to understand psychological aspects, you have to understand sociological aspects, you have to understand political aspects. All these influences should be understood to know the reason for the violence in the society. So that is how systems approach, structural functional approach help in understanding the politics or political system in an integrated manner. And how, and when you make public policies, for example, government make many policies. While making the policies, it takes into consideration many aspects, many forces and counter forces in the society, and they will, how policies will come as output after prolonged process of input functions. So when a policy is coming out of the government, then there must have been so many input functions, so many groups, so many forces, so many individuals involved, and the demands from the society, long pending demands from the society are taken into consideration. They are all, they serve as input functions. Then government, based on those input functions, government, take a policy decision and it will announce a policy. So because of the post-behavioralism, the these structural functional approach, systems approach, have come into this political theory as main focus of study. And then, therefore, the political scientists like David Easton, Gabriel Almond, Charles Lindbaum, Thomas Dye hold the view that political science is a policy science. At the end of the day, ultimately, the government has to make so many policies. They make so many laws. These laws and policies are the result of so many input functions. The concept of public policy is of recent origin and is a product of post-behavioralism. So that is how political science or political theory has shifted its focus. Initially, the focus was on institutional structure, and then on common good. Then the focus shifted from these institutions and common good to the behavior of the individuals, that is behavioralism, activities, conflicts, and then the focus shifted to post-behavioralism. Post-behavioralism was the answer to the limitations in the behavioralism. Behavioralism emphasized on knowing the facts. Post-behavioralism added values. So facts and values are very important. So political theory, as we have been discussing, covers both the aspects, the empirical aspects and also the normative aspects. So political theory covers both these aspects, as we discussed in last two classes. So after knowing the evolution of political theory from before at least 4th or 5th century to 1970s and post 1970s, the scope of political theory has been expanded. The scope of political theory has become multidisciplinary. So that is how scope has been increasing. The scope of the political theory has increased enormously. So after knowing the evolution of political theory from its emergence to late 1970s and till date, the scope of political science has expanded enormously. Now let us see, after knowing the evolution of political theory and its scope, if we look at the specific aspects of the scope, we have to keep in mind these are the important aspects of the scope of political theory. They are first, as we have discussed, political theory studies state and government, institutional mechanism, or structures, political structures. Then political theory studies the relations of the individual with the state and his behavior. We studied under behavioralism the behavior of the individual. Then political theory also studies comparative politics. Comparative politics studies different political cultures, political systems of different countries, and also different forms of government, different types of governments, different organs of the government, how they function in different countries, in different political systems. We study all these aspects under comparative politics. And also political theory studies political dynamics. In society you have formal and informal organizations and institutions, and also pressure groups, civil society, public opinion. These are the dynamics. They change. They keep on changing. They keep on changing, and they are becoming very complex in 21st century. The dynamics are keep the dynamics keep changing. All these aspects come under political theory. And also political theory studies international relations and international law, the relations between different states and how they are evolving, the international law. Under UNO you have United Nations Organization and you have International Court of Justice. How international law is in way, is how international law determines the relationship between the states. And also political theory studies public policy, as just now we discussed how political science has become policy science. This is also very important part of political science. Political theory, study of political dynamics, and study of international relations. These are just now I have said. And also political theory studies both prescriptive and descriptive political phenomena. Prescriptive means what ought to be. So what ought to be can be done only by following philosophical methodology. Philosophy, because philosophy emphasizes on ideas. Philosophy emphasizes on what ought to be. And also political theory, descriptive political phenomena. It describes, it explains the political phenomena. It describes the political phenomena. So description and prescription are very important in political theory. So political theory does has so many aspects under its scope, and the political theory has been evolving, and this is the what we have come to the conclusion that the political science has become policy science. And also political theory is a theory which is emphasizing on so many aspects and so many dynamics. So the political theory, you should understand, this is how you should understand political theory, its evolution. Dear students, this is a very very important topic. Political theory, as you all know, is a new subject that has been introduced for the first semester, and once again I will show you the slides that I have made, PPTs that I have prepared, and please look at the slides now, based on which I have taken this class. Please look at the slides, PPTs that I have made. Just this is the first slide, and this is second slide, evolution and scope of political theory. This is first slide. Then this is focus on state, how political theory focused on state after society became complex, how it emphasized on institutional aspects like state and government. Then this is common good, how political theory focused on common good, order and justice and the best state. How Plato, Aristotle, emphasized on